When spring practice started for Nebraska, a lot of concerns about the wide receiver position and just the overall numbers, as technically on paper, the Huskers only had 4 true scholarship wide receivers here going through spring ball, but they will bring in, an additional 4 to 5 high quality bodies here, in the summer for the 2020 season. But you look at kind of what they had to work with here in the spring. We know J.D. Spielman is on a temporary leave from the team. We don't know what his future is, as that remains a big question. So that shifts all the focus to Wan'Dale Robinson. Earlier in my running back breakdown, I talked about Dedrick Mills having to be a 1,000-yard back. I think when you look at Wan'Dale Robinson, I think he needs to give Nebraska at least 1,000 scrimmage yards as well, whether that's on the ground, through the air, if not more than that, as I think he will be the featured weapon besides the quarterback in the offense that's going to have to get a lot more touches this year, and they have to be smarter, I think, with how do they utilize Wan'Dale Robinson. Then you have Kade Warner. He came off surgery or an injury last year. Really probably wasn't supposed to come back. He came back on it, probably played late in the year at about 75%. Kade Warner will be a starter at least in the spring right now for Nebraska, so he's another one of the top guys. Chris Hickman is going to play more wide receiver this spring. I mentioned that there's just 4 scholarship receivers. Well, that's not counting Kade Warner. That's not counting Chris Hickman. So they've got additional bodies in that mix. Still, the jury remains out on 2 redshirt freshmen in Demariyon Houston and Jamie Nance. As a year ago, they could not get on the field when Nebraska didn't have a lot of wide receivers. So for Houston and Nance, this will be a very big spring for them as well, just to kind of show where they fit here in the grand scheme of things. Then you have Alante Brown. He's here right now. He's from a prep school, originally from Chicago Simeon. We saw him a couple of years ago at the rival Chicago Camp Series event in Chicago playing quarterback. Had over 50 touchdowns as a high school quarterback. Ran the best 40 of Nebraska's newcomers. A lot of high hopes here for Alante Brown here over the course of spring practice. You got a couple of walk-ons to watch as well. Bennett Folkers out of Gothenburg, Christian Banker out of Scott, Wyatt Lever out of O'Neill High School. There are a number of other guys that will get good looks when and if Nebraska gets back on the field. But I think the story is going to be come June, July, August. Omar Manning, Xavier Betts, Marcus Fleming. You're going to bring in a very, very good group. You'll have Nixon as well out of Waco. So you've got 4 high-level guys. Ty Hahn as well is going to be a future scholarship guy. He'll start out as a walk-on. So to me, it's such an incomplete position right now because the physicality, the size that Manning and Betts brings, mixed in with the versatility and the speed guys like Nixon and Fleming bring, that wide receiver position could end up being a surprise, but we just don't know what direction it's going to go, as there's still some qualification issues surrounding both Manning and Betts, and that will be a big part here for the success of Nebraska's offense in 2020. And that's a wrap here on our receiver position. We'll talk tight ends next. For Husker Online, I'm Sean Callahan.